7-card stud is the real, true poker game.
Tonight from Las Vegas, the World Championship of 7-card stud, featuring the reigning champion, Joe Awada.
Well, my goal today is to win that second bracelet.
I thought I had the best hand.
More importantly, back-to-back championship.
Standing in his way, the #1 ranked player in the world, John Fan.
I'm not afraid of nobody. I'm gonna try and knock every single one out if I could.
All right.
John is hot right now.
I take luck anytime, any day.
He's a young, aggressive, careless player.
Joe might not think I know what I'm doing, but I know what I'm doing.
2 poker heavyweights, each in search of a world championship bracelet.
I always look forward to a challenge. That's why I stopped wearing last year's bracelet. I'm anticipating to win a new bracelet.
It's the World Championship of 7-card stud at the World Series of Poker, presented by Milwaukee's Best Light. Action already underway here at the Rio. Tom McCormick, a World Series veteran, has been eliminated in 8th place.
Nice playing with you.
And 26-year-old Gerard Rechnitzer is our 7th place finisher, both eliminated by Joe Awada.
Hello, everybody. Along with Norman Chad, I'm Lon McCarra. And the final table of our 7-card stud event features some top pros, familiar faces, bracelet winners, and a very intriguing matchup between the champion, Joe Awada, and #1 contender, John Fan.
Lon, John Fan has been the man this year, frustrating opponents with his loose and aggressive play. But his strength is no limit hold'em. This is a limit game and it's stud, and we'll have to see how much that handcuffs Fan's style.
There is 30-year-old John Fan at his first World Series final table. He is as aggressive as they come, and Joe Awada is having a terrific World Series of Poker so far. This is his 3rd cash.
Chip Jett, a former poker dealer like Joe Awada, and he was our chip leader when we started the final table. And there's Keith Sexton. All of his final tables at the World Series have been in stud.
And you see our current standings on the Levitra chip count. Keith Sexton leads everybody. Steve Diano is the short stack with 56,000. In stud, players are dealt 3 cards to get play underway, 2 cards down and 1 card up.
The player with the lowest up card has a forced bet called the bring in. There's Steve Diano. He has to make the first wager with the 4 diamonds.
Action from the bring-in moves around the table clockwise over to John Fan on the Milwaukee's Best Light pocket cam. He's got an ace up and a jack-9 in the hole, 3 diamonds. And Fan will raise it up to 4,000.
It's an honest face. Look at it.
Sexton folds over to Joe Awada. 4 up and an ace-5 in the hole.
All right, Johnny boy.
And he's going to make the call. So Awada and Fan will go heads up.
From this point on, the player with the best hand showing will start the action.
Giving him action.
4th Street comes out.
John Fan is showing ace high, so he'll be the first to act.
You kissing it?
Although Joe Awada has picked up a straight draw.
Kissing it goodbye?
For more chip
You're hoping
coming,
it'll
Joe.
grow.
Fan bet 4,000.
It's a good match.
Joe Awada makes the call. The red border around each player's first 2 cards indicate they're down cards. The other players cannot see those. And now 5th Street. And Awada gets a pair of aces.
Now what are you going to... Now we know you don't have an ace.
Fan still with the best hand showing with ace-king. He's aggressive. He's going to bet his flush draw.
It's 8,000 chips to Joe Awada.
Remember, this is a limit game. In the first 2 rounds right now, they could bet or raise 4,000. Then in the rest of the hand, they can bet or raise in increments of 8,000.
Gentle Joe looks a bit anguished, but he does raise it actually up to 16,000 now. Action off Fan. He's not quite sure.
I hope it's liquor what are you drinking.
Making me thirsty too.
Loosen you up a bit.
Can I go all in or no?
You can.
I could.
Just keep raising.
Actually, Fan is drinking beer and snacking on beef jerky at this table.
Awada's right, though. You can't just push all your chips in at once. Now 6th Street.
And Awada's still in command of this hand with a pair of aces and a straight draw. Fan has now picked up a straight draw to go along with his flush draw. He's still high on the board. He's first to act.
And he will come out with 8,000 chips.
Continues to be aggressive. A lot of people would want a free card right there, but he continues to bet the possibility that he'll make his flush or straight.
Awada made the call, and now the 7th and final card in stud dealt face down to each player. Fan got a 3. He missed his draws. The highlighted card represents the hand that he made. He only has ace high.
He's feeling frustrated, Lon. In limit games, you have to catch cards. You can't make as many moves.
Not a mystery, John. It's a very easy decision. No limit. I could see your strategy. Here, it doesn't work. You do or you don't.
The same thing holds true in life and frankly, most marriages, Lon. Joe's giving him free lessons.
Fan bets 8,000. Awada checks his river card. It's a 5. You see by the highlighted cards, he's made aces up. And Awada, of course, calls.
You got a straight? That's good. Ace is up.
Yeah, flush draw.
Fan did not have a pair. He's taking a creative license that poker players take.
And Joe Awada takes the chips, and he now has the chip lead.
See, I think Hold'em is definitely your game.
All right, you're the champion.
You can't get too innovative, my friend. Not in this game.
Score round 1 for the defending champion, who just schooled the challenger on how to play 7-card stud. Here are the Milwaukee's best light rules for 7-card stud. Each player is initially dealt 3 cards. 2 are down, and 1 comes face up. Players then must decide for the first time whether they are in or out. The next 3 cards are all dealt face up, with a round of betting after each card. The 7th and final card is dealt face down. After one last round of betting, players still in will reveal what they have. And as always, the best 5-card hand wins the pot. At the championship table of 7-card stud, the limits are now raised to 5 and 10,000.
And remember, Lon, I know you just said it, but you sometimes forget. It's 7 stud, but you make your best 5-card hand out of 7. Best 5 cards.
Okay, thank you. 5 cards, best. Jan Sorensen has a king up and a queen 8 in the hole. And he's going to raise it or complete the bet to the 5,000 chip limit.
Most of the time in this game, you do raise when you have the highest up card or when you have a concealed pocket pair. There's a concealed pocket pair.
And you will see a red border around Iwata's aces. That indicates a player's hole cards.
And he decides just to slow play the aces. He did not raise Jan Sorensen.
So Awada with the early advantage, and now 4th Street comes out. Sorensen with the ace, Awada with the 9.
Awada now with a stronger advantage with the pocket aces, but Sorensen the first to act with the ace showing. He bets, and Awada still slow playing his aces, just calls.
You're going to see the players looking around the table a lot. One of the key elements in stud is to track the cards that are dealt face up.
Sorensen picked up a straight draw on 5th Street. He bets. Awada finally makes a move and raises. And that must tell Jan Sorensen that he's behind in the hand line. And in this game, losers chase too often. Quite simply, you should fold when you think you're beat.
A couple of 4s come out on 6th Street.
And an overwhelming advantage now for Joe Awada.
Sorensen checks. Awada comes out with 10,000 chips.
Sorensen just on a straight draw, and he will call.
So now 7th Street will come out face down to each player. Awada with a big advantage. He's got the pair of aces right now.
Sorensen still looking for that 10 to make Broadway an ace-high straight.
Sorensen checks his river card, and it's an ace. Sorensen now with a pair of aces and a king kicker.
Oh, he got the case ace. Awada now needs to find a second pair.
Awada got an 8, no second pair.
Aces. Aces?
Oh, and Awada knows he's out-kicked. That's sick.
You gotta be kidding me. Nice hand.
Jan Sorensen got the lucky ace on the river, and with the king, out kicks Awada to win the pot. Joe Awada looking for justice at a poker table, and he's just not going to find any here.
The 2005 World Series of Poker is presented by Milwaukee's Best Light, brewed for a man's taste. Miller Brewing Company, and in part by New Degree for Men. With twice the protection you need, it won't let you down. And Harrah's Entertainment, home of the world's richest poker tournament. The World Series of Poker presented by Milwaukee's Best Light.
Back at the Rio, event number 23 of 42. We're playing 7-card stud today.
Steve Diano's my man, Lon. He pointed out a top-secret parking space here at the casino. I'm indebted to him for life, or at least the next month.
Now we just got to find Scott Fishman's private bathroom, and we're set. Chip Chet with an 8 up and a 6-5 in the hole. Raises to 5,000. Over to Jan Sorensen. He's got a 4 up and a Jack 10, all diamonds.
Flush draws are inviting at the beginning of a stud hand, but they go south in a hurry.
John Fan with a 10 of spades up and 2 more spades in the pocket. He's got 3 to a flush also. Fan gives it some thought. And we'll make the call.
I can tell you're a Hold'em player for sure.
What's that?
I can tell you play Hold'em a lot. No limit. Takes you a long time to make up your mind.
Joe know that.
I know. I understand.
That's
You just don't play
slow
stud.
for me,
I
yeah.
know.
Actually, the main difference between stud and Hold'em players, Lon, stud players wear better jewelry, Hold'em players wear better aftershave.
On 4th Street, Chip Jet picks up a straight draw.
And the other 2 players miss on their flush draws.
Sorensen check. Fan checks. Chip Jet now acts with that straight draw.
Gets an immediate call from Jan Sorensen. And Fan comes in 2.
So now 3 players still remaining. 5th Street now, and a pair of 5s for Chip Jet.
Jan Sorensen's flush has gone flat. 4 spades for Fan, but he also will check.
Chip Jet will bet with his 5s, 10,000. Sorensen gets out of the hand. Action now on John Fan.
When you chase your draws in this game, you usually lose. He wants to play because he's got the flush draw, and he is going to play chasing the flush.
So Jet will hold the advantage with 2 players left. There is Karina Jet, Chip's wife. She made the final table at the 2004 women's event. And now here comes 6th Street, and Fan gets an ace-high flush.
Oh, he takes command of this hand, and he checks, and Chip Jet has 2 pair.
And Jet bets 10,000 with his 6s and 5s.
Well, now I'm sympathetic to Keith Sexton's sensibilities. There's no reason for Fan to take this long. You just know he's going to check raise. He's doing that little Hold'em Hollywood thing.
And Fan finally comes out with the raise, 20,000.
Jet has to call him. He's played with John Fan a lot. He knows Fan could be check raising on a draw, and now Fan has bet in the dark.
Final card down to each player.
So now Chip needs to hit his full house with a 5 or a 6.
He does not hit it. He gets a king on the river. Fan earns the check mark, but Chip is going to make the call. And Fan turns over the winning spade flush. And Fan takes the pot from Chip Jet.
Nice hand.
Chip, I own you. Remember what you're doing?
Your stack was looking a little small.
Oh, okay, thanks. I'm gonna take Joe down with you.
Nothing wrong with dreaming, baby.
Nope.
We all dream, I know.
Joe Awada dreams of bringing home another bracelet, and he keeps pictures of his kids nearby him for inspiration. But when it comes to those same kids playing poker, well, that's a different story.
My 13-year-old daughter, she's asking me about poker and she's interested. So she got on the internet and she was just kind of trying to check it out. They have the free play on some of those websites. But I pretty much had to put a stop to that. I try to keep my kids away from gaming because gambling is a struggle. You could go through a long period of time and not winning anything, even if you are playing your best game. And of course, temptation is gonna be there, and especially if they know their dad did it, but I don't think they need any more distraction right now. And I'd rather have them concentrate on their schooling.
Awada owns his own gaming entertainment company, and there is his wife, Lamia. Awada's nickname is Gentle Joe, and it pains me to tell you folks, it was given to him by my partner, Lon McCarran.
He likes it, but he doesn't look so gentle with the goatee, though. Joe Awada's got a 7 of spades up. Actually, he's got 3 spades to a flush, and he's going to raise it up to 15,000. Over to Steve Diano. He's got 1 jack up, 1 jack in the hole. They call that split jacks.
Diano just bought a Cadillac. He plays on the internet with a bunch of guys from Holland. They decided they would paint it pink if any one of them wins a bracelet.
They can travel the poker circuit selling Mary Kay cosmetics. John Fan with a couple of aces in the hole and a 5. Races it up to 15,000.
I got him, Joe. Don't worry.
Okay.
I got this big man.
Awada gets out of the way with his 3 flush.
Okay.
Diano re-raises it to 20,000 with a pair of jacks.
Now go in. Raise.
Fan wants to raise it up enough to put Diano all in, and that's exactly what he does.
Diano all in. This is only his 2nd live stud tournament ever. Earlier in this World Series, he played in the stud tournament and he cashed in that one.
What are you doing with a hand?
Diano holding jacks, sees the pocket aces of John Fan, and knows Fan's in the lead as we go to 4th Street. And Fan gets a pair of fives. Now aces up.
Paired up, too.
That puts Steve Diano one step closer to being out of the door. Hope I don't lose my parking space.
No more jack. Joe got 2 jack already.
You got a jack?
Yeah. Chip got 2 jacks.
Steve, we didn't have a jack.
All right. They're live. They're live.
Fan giving Diano a hard time.
Still have 2 cards in the deck, Steve. Don't worry.
I'm going to make a straight 9-10. How's that? I'm in no hurry.
He better be in a hurry. He needs cards.
That
Didn't help Diano.
If you don't give me a jack, give me a 9.
Ace 5.
Fans aces up, easily in the lead here as we go to 6th Street.
Diano trying to make a straight.
Oh, you got to take my...
Look at this. He's one of your 5s now. He's got 2 more cards.
John Fan blocks Diano's jack, and Diano now, to stay alive, will either need the last jack in the deck or he needs a 5 to make a straight, and Fan's got 2 of those.
River card dealt face down.
Let me know if it's over yet.
Fan with a useless third pair.
It's over for you, Steve. 3 pair.
He pretends like he made the full
I need
house.
the last
King
jack
eight, yeah,
or
king
one of the
eight.
last 2 5s.
Your King 8.
And Diano's river, also a 3.
5.
Not a 5.
Nice hand, Steve.
So the pair of jacks not good enough for Steve Diano. Fans aces up, shoot him down. Diano is gone in 6th place, takes home over $45,000. Aggressive John Fan, capable of taking command of a poker table. Maybe he took a small step towards that goal. Welcome back to the Rio. A winner's share of $293,000 of that money stack. Keith Sexton is in best position right now. John Fan, the short stack, with $92,000.
No pretenders left here, Lon. 5 pros. I wouldn't shake hands with any of them. Don't trust them.
Jan Sorensen from Odense, Denmark, has a queen up, an ace-6 in the hole. He raises it up to $5,000. Over to John Fan with a 9 and a jack-10 in the hole, beginnings of a straight. He makes the call. Keith Sexton folds. Over to defending champion Joel Wada, gets out of the way. Next to act is Chip Jett. He's got a deuce up. He's got split 2s, and he will make the call. So 3 players in the hand. 4th Street comes out, and Jett hits a set of deuces.
When you have a pair showing on 4th Street in stud, you can bet the higher limit, and that's what Chip Jett does. He bets 10,000.
Sorensen got a pair of aces on 4th Street, and he will match the bet from Chip Jett over to John Fan, who got a pair of jacks. And Fan gives it up.
Fan showing good restraint. He sees that Jett paired his door card, his first up card, and that means he might have 3 of a kind already. Plus, he's got to be worried about Sorensen's 2 over cards.
So it's Jett and Sorensen. Jett still with the advantage. And there's his mom, Sarah. It's the first time she's ever seen Chip play in a poker tournament.
I empathize with Karina Jett. Her mother-in-law's in town.
Chip bets 10,000. Action on Sorensen.
Sorensen won a World Series bracelet in 2002 in Omaha.
He makes the call. And now 6th Street. And Sorensen now has aces up after repairing his 6.
And with aces up, I don't think Sorensen's going anywhere now. Jett decides to check his 3 deuces, and Sorensen bets.
10,000 from Sorensen. Jett re-raises to 20. Sorensen immediately makes the call.
And that should indicate to Jan Sorensen that he is behind in the hand and he is chasing.
So now the river card, again, dealt face down to each player. Chip Jett, he got an 8, and you see the highlighted cards. He's got a full house, and he bets.
Sorensen looking for his own bigger full house.
Sorensen, oh, and he got a 6. He got a better full house. And Sorensen raises.
That is sick again.
Chip Jett calls it and sees and is disgusted he loses with his full house.
What a bad beat. What a lucky card. What an unhappy wife.
What a happy Dane. Jan Sorensen gets lucky again on the river and takes the pot. While Chip didn't win that hand, he has had great success at poker where he's known for his aggressive style. In fact, you might say it's something he was born to do.
My given name is Charles Jett, but a nurse at the hospital where I was born had a son named Chip, and she suggested that as a nickname to my mom, and so I was Chip before I left the hospital, and I've never been called anything else. I think I was like 14 before I knew how to spell Charles. It's never been my name and never will be. Other than Moneymaker, it probably is like the perfect poker name. Chip Jett. I mean, it sounds like Chip's flying fast. You know, it's just, I live up to a lot of the time. Being perceived as being ultra-aggressive and dangerous is better than being perceived as soft. So for poker, Chip Jett is about as lucky as you can get with a name.
He used to be a lifeguard, but the name Chip Jett not as lucky for him. on the beach. And there is his mother. It is her birthday today.
Chip trying to give her a nice big birthday present of a gold bracelet, maybe. We continue at the stud championship table, 5-handed. Action over to Keith Sexton. And it is quite a family affair today. There are his sons, Matt and Paul. We did see Paul at a final table at this year's World Series.
Everybody in that family can play poker.
A pair of kings for Sexton. He's going to raise it up to 5,000. Over to the man who won this bracelet last year, Joe Awada. He's got split nines. Re-raise is up to 10,000. Jet will get out of the way, as does Sorensen.
Sexton just calls. He might have re-raised himself, which would tell Awada, I can beat your nines, but he decides just to sit on them.
Sexton still leads now with a pair of kings.
But Awada is the first to act. He bets, and Sexton again just calls.
And now 5th Street, and Sexton with another pair. He's got kings and eights now.
And with a pair showing, Sexton is the first to act, and he will bet quickly and gets an immediate call from Joe Awada, who still has a pair of nines.
And now 6th Street, and Sexton picks up a diamond draw and bets immediately.
Can't wait to get him in there, huh, Keith?
Well, maybe that's a tell that Sexton wants to get his chips in so quickly. He does have 2 pair and the flush draw. It's a good hand as we go to the river.
Awada made the call. Sexton bet 10,000 in the dark.
Yeah, you made your flush.
Well, Joe sees that Sexton has 3 diamonds showing and puts him on a flush.
And in truth, Sexton does not have a flush. Got the 2 pair, though, kings and eights.
Awada, no improvement on the river, just a pair of nines, and he's considering a call here. This is a hand he probably wants to lay down. But he's considering a call, I guess because of the size of the pot at this point.
Awada does make the call and sees that he's lost, but not to a flush.
Keith Sexton was ahead every step of the way in that hand, starting with the pocket kings.
Nice king on the river.
Awada thinks he got rivered, but either way, that puts a big hurt on the defending champ.
You've been hot.
And Awada might be a little hotter right now.
You've been hot.
Our Stud World Championship continues with Jan Sorensen, our chip leader. Joe Awada, after that last tough beat, is our short stack with 34,000 chips, and his chances of repeating here are slipping away. The limits, as we continue 5-handed, have been raised to 6,000 and 12,000. Awada and Chip Jet fold over to Jan Sorensen.
Jan played pro soccer in Denmark, but then after his 3rd knee injury, he said enough of this. He moved to Las Vegas to play cards.
Sorensen raised it up to 6,000 with 3 hearts. Fan folds behind him. Over to Sexton, who's working on a straight.
Sexton's lived in Las Vegas for a long time. He finished 2nd in stud at the World Series in 1990.
And he makes the call. So Sexton and Sorensen will go heads up, and Sexton pairs his 4.
But it's Jan Sorensen who's first to act, and with 4 hearts, he comes barreling out with a bet. He is called by Sexton.
Sorensen with the advantage as we go to 5th Street. And Sexton now with a set of 4s.
Trip 4s for Keith Sexton. And he will bet. And I don't see any way Jan Sorensen's going to get away from this hand. He now has a straight draw along with his flush draw, and he is going to chase, Lon. Losers chase. Believe me, I know. I have chased for a long time.
Sorensen raised it to 24,000. Sexton now pushes it to 36. He likes his 4s.
Yeah, now that raise from Sexton should tell Sorensen that his hand is beat right now. But like I said, he's been chasing. He's going to continue to chase, and with a straight and flush draw, he has little choice at this point.
A lot of chips in the pot. Keith Sexton with a strong advantage right now, and Sorensen pairs his 10, but he still trails the 3 4s of Sexton.
Sexton now a 3-1 favorite. Sorensen, though, the first to act because he has a pair of 10s showing, and he checks.
Sexton bets 12,000 back at Sorensen. Sorensen reaching for chips, and he'll call.
So as we go to the river, if Sexton doesn't improve, Sorensen can still win the hand with a 3rd 10, a straight, or a heart.
Sorensen looks at his river card, and it is a heart! And you see the highlighted card. Sorensen's got a king high flush.
And Sorensen checked, fearful of a possible full house. Sexton's got to fill up.
He got a queen, no help to him.
I check.
Yeah, he's a cautious player.
Flush.
Oh, Sorensen lets him know the bad news. And Sexton's out of his seat. He can't believe Sorensen won again on the river.
Yeah, Jan hitched a ride on the good luck truck today.
Sorensen started the hand 4 to a flush and then got lucky on the river.
Running good, and I'm lucky.
Well, defending champion Joe Awada knows a thing or two about luck, both sides having lost and won a bracelet at last year's World Series. You might be surprised to learn what he considers to be the best hand he ever played.
Some people are born lucky, and I feel very fortunate to be one of them.
In 2004, Joe Awada was lucky enough to find himself 2 cards away from his first bracelet. And Joe Awada will call, and now he puts himself in position to win this no-limit tournament.
And now was just up to Lady Luck.
Here comes the turn card. It's a 9 of hearts and opens up a couple doors.
If a 7 came on the river, that would make 2 pair, and Fishman would have the better kicker.
Joe Awada 1 card away from winning his first World Series bracelet. Here comes the river card.
It's hard to describe what was exactly going through my mind.
Please, no ace, no king. 7 would have been the lost out on my mind.
Scott Fishman has drawn a miracle 7. Joe Awada cannot believe what he has witnessed.
I could taste that bracelet, but it slipped away.
I got lucky, quote unquote.
That was bad luck. But I'm very grateful the way it worked out, believe it or not.
So why would Awada consider a hand he lost his best hand ever? Because of the way he handled that cruel twist of fate.
The best compliments I get from people is that I was a gentleman. And you know what? I can't ask for any better compliment than that.
Joe says that his stud victory last year was made all that much sweeter because of that bad beat he took, well, to that man, Scott Fishman.
Fishman actually good friends with John Fan. You know, Lon, I always see Fishman around here, even when he's not playing. I do not believe he has a home.
The casino is the man's home. Chip Jet has the bring in. Action on John Fan. John's got a 7-up. He's got some good connectors in there, a couple of diamonds.
Remember, this is 7-card stud. Gives you a little more margin for error with your hands as you try to make your best 5 cards out of 7.
Fan raised it to 6,000. Keith Sexton folded over to Joe Awada. He's got a 10-up and a king-8.
If I don't steal now, I'll never steal.
Well, he can't steal much now. He doesn't have the chips to back it up. He does raise.
Jet folds.
Just put it all in, Joe.
All right, baby.
And Fan re-raises to put Joe Awada all in.
Fan will try to knock out Joe Awada. These two actually went heads up at the final table last year at the Ultimate Poker Challenge in No Limit Hold'em. Fan's best game, but Awada won that one.
Awada was writing Fan about being a Hold'em player, so how poetic would it be if Fan knocks off the champion?
King High is best right now for Awada, but you see the percentages. Fan the favorite now because he's got such a great drawing hand.
Now Joe Awada picks up an ace.
Awada's still ahead with Ace High, as you see his wife Lamia there on the right. Fan still the favorite, kisses his lucky charm.
It's not gonna work today.
Fan on a straight draw.
I bet you it worked, Joe. 4-9.
Fan calling for cards. And Joe Awada actually got a 9 that would have made a straight for Fan.
Your cards, baby. I'm getting your cards. Just give him a picture now. Any picture.
Give me a jack and give me a 9 or 4 there.
Awada all in, but he's just hanging on here by the hairs on his chinny chin chin. If Fan picks up a pair on the river,
picture,
that would force Awada to pair. And of course, if Fan makes his straight, it doesn't matter what Awada gets, he's dead.
He got the straight.
Sorry, Joe.
Fan got the straight to the 8. He earns the check mark.
Joe
Joe Awada drawing dead. Doesn't matter what his river card is. And he has been eliminated. The defending champion is gone in 5th place. Wins almost $59,000 and his family applauds his efforts. A big notch in Fan's belt as a younger challenger sends Joe Awada to the rail.
In poker, just as in life, you play the cards that are dealt to you, the hand that is dealt to you. And I played the cards and the hands that were dealt to me, and just wasn't meant for me today, the bracelet. So I'll just have to wait for another one.
The Toyota Points Leader is brought to you by Toyota. Choose any direction, as long as it's forward. Toyota, moving forward.
We've got a new man on top of the Toyota Player of the Year leaderboard, Mark Safe, who just won his 2nd bracelet in a week. In event number 22 leads everybody, Chris Ferguson in 2nd place. On the outer tables, they're playing pot limit hold'em, trying to earn points for the Toyota Player of the Year award. Phil Hellmuth looking to win a record 10th bracelet, but also hoping to break a record of a different kind, most career money finishes at the World Series. At the beginning of this year's World Series, 4 players were vying for the all-time cash record. Then the master win had 44.
Yes, that's good.
TJ Cloutier and Phil Hellmuth both tied with 45. And the quiet Hall of Famer Barry Johnston was the leader with 46 cashes. But quickly, it became a 2-man race. Phil Hellmuth got out to a fast start, cashing in the first tournament and tying Johnston.
I'm gonna make it tonight. I'm gonna break the record.
Hellmuth didn't cash in the next event he entered, taking the overall lead for the first time.
So I'm right on top of my game.
Barry Johnston was not to be outdone. He cashed, and they were tied again.
Barry, what are you doing to me?
Within days, Johnston cashed again and retook the lead, but Hellmuth couldn't stay quiet.
48 times the money.
He cashed, and now Hellmuth and Barry Johnston are tied at 48.
What are you gonna do?
I believe there is a Phil Hellmuth rule on. He must appear at least once in each of our telecasts.
Keith Sexton has 8 cashes in his World Series history. Jan Sorensen's the only player left at our championship table who's won a bracelet. Both of them fold.
I know for sure one thing, you guys won't blind me out. I'm gonna gamble and get out.
John Fan is not gonna go quietly, never does.
Well, a limit game really puts a straight jacket on a no-limit player such as himself, particularly an aggressive player like John.
John's got something to work with. Split jacks. He raises to 6,000. Sexton's got pocket kings, and he's going to re-raise to 12.
And instead, when you raise somebody with a higher door card than you, you're telling them, I can beat that right now. And indeed, Sexton's kings can beat Fan's jacks.
But Fan makes the call. He's been struggling to get some traction at this championship table all day long. 4th Street, and Sexton keeps his advantage. And he's going to come out with 6,000.
John Fan is going to start to chase.
Fan sitting on Sexton's elbow calls. 5th Street now, and a 3rd king for Keith Sexton.
He does have a hammer lock on the hand.
Comes out with 12,000. Fan with a pair of jacks.
Now, John Fan can beat what he sees, but he's dreaming if he think he might win this hand.
Now 6th Street, and Sexton gets the check mark. Fan's drawing dead. Sexton comes out with 12,000.
Fan still with a pair of jacks, continues to chase. You know, John looks pretty excited to get this river card line, but unless it's one of those free get-out-of-jail cards you get in Monopoly, he's just not going to win this one.
He's got nothing, yeah. Sexton gets an 8 of spades. His 3 kings, obviously still good, comes out with 12,000. Now Fan.
A meaningless river card for Fan. He has made 2 pair, and he's going to pay him off.
3 kings.
Oh, Fan is stunned.
What a river card, huh?
No, I had 2 kings in hold.
Nobody ever believes Sexton starts with kings.
A flush draw, and I catch 2 pair.
He didn't have a flush draw. I swear, Lon, if you ask a poker player the time of day, he will lie to you.
So Fan lost most of his chip stack in that hand. Sexton takes down another pot and continues a familiar pattern for his clan. We know his sons play the game, but poker runs up the Sexton family tree too.
As I was growing up, my mother and my stepfather ran a poker game in Dayton, Ohio.
I loved playing poker. I loved it. I'd be playing for 12, 15 hours, and I didn't want to get up.
Well, this was no ordinary neighborhood game that Grace hosted and played in, especially when her neighbors included poker legend Chip Reese.
Gracie was just as tough as any man. In her day, she had to be the best women's 7-card stud player in the world.
You don't have to be a man to play.
I was lucky enough for my mom. I got almost like free lessons. I learned how to play at the beginning from her without ever having to be beat up by other players. She taught me how to play poker, and then I've in turn then taught my kids how to play poker. So it's been like something just passed down from generation to generation.
I think it's in the blood. I think you have to have an instinct for it.
And with the kids, yeah, I've had a lot of fun playing with them. We'll sit there and laugh and joke.
You can't be serious. This is very serious.
So, you know, gambling's been good to the Sextons, that's for sure.
Yeah, Grace's gambling prodigy doing quite well. Keith here at the final table. Just a couple of weeks ago, his son Paul made his first World Series final table, finished 5th in No Limit Hold'em. Chip Jett here is playing under a handicap. His mother, you see right there, didn't even teach him how to play poker. All she did was name him, clothe him, and feed him.
It's a side cash game later on between Sarah and Grace. It'll be fun to watch.
Grace is a big favorite there.
John Fan raises to 6,000 with ace high over to Keith Sexton. He's got a jack up. He's got split jacks. And he's going to re-raise it to 12,000. John Fan now with action in front of him.
Re-raise.
And John Fan's going to re-raise with his last 11,000 chips.
Fan loves going all in and no limit with a big stack, but this is a different type of all in for him. He's run out of chips.
Sexton calls it, and this is our degree all-in moment. John Fan risking his tournament life on Ace-King 10.
Fan's nickname is the Razor because he loves to do just that. Today he's raised as much as he can in a limit game. It hasn't helped him much.
He's raised as much as he can here, and Sexton has two pair now, jacks and deuces.
Fan's day nearing an end. He's a 4-1 underdog as we go to 5th Street.
And 5th Street comes out. Fan gets a 6. He needs more than that.
Fan indeed needs to make some high 2-pair or needs running straight cards.
And now 6th Street. Nothing for Fan, and that means that Sexton earns the degree check mark. A meaningless river card. Fan's drawing dead. He'll follow Joe Awada to the exit door in 4th place.
We didn't get to see the best of John Fan here. He's usually highly creative, highly aggressive, but the cards wouldn't allow it today.
And Keith Sexton in very good chip position at this championship table.
The all-in moment is brought to you by New Degree for men who take risks. It won't let you down. The World Series of Poker presented by Milwaukee's Best Light.
Well, there's Karina Jett on her feet in the stands as husband Chip Jett is all in for his last 33,000 chips with a pair of sixes versus the two queens of Keith Sexton.
Chip running bad all day, needs to get lucky to stay alive in this tournament.
4th Street, the queens of Sexton are still best.
Chip at least builds a possible straight there with 6, 7, 8, and he still has the pair of sixes.
All they can do is sit and await their fate as the dealer dishes out the cards. It's a deuce, no help to Jett.
Chip needs something to be wild. Deuce is wild, 7's wild. He's got nothing going here in this hand. He trails Sexton's queens.
And on 6th Street, well, 4 hearts for Sexton, not that he needed any more help.
So Karina doesn't like what she sees. Chip now, all in, needs to get a second pair or a third 6 here on the river. That's assuming Sexton doesn't improve.
Chip Jett's mom watching her son play for the first time. He's made a great showing at this championship table, and now the river card comes face down. Sexton turns it over immediately. He got a 10. Jett's last chance. He needs to pair one of his cards. He doesn't do it. Status quo. Sexton's queens hold up, and Chip Jett is gone in 3rd place.
Tough luck all day for Chip Jett. You know, Lon, one of my favorite parts of Card Player Magazine is the Ask Karina and Chip feature. Very entertaining. Maybe I'll send in a question about how a good marriage works.
So we're left with 2 stud specialists, Keith Sexton, who's been doing a lot of the dirty work around here at this championship table. He's ready for his finale with Jan Sorensen.
I would describe Jan's play as being very similar to mine. I have a lot of respect for his play.
I've been playing with him in cash games many years. He can play stop. I can read my opponents pretty good, so I feel confident when I'm heads up.
When it's down to 2 people, I have a lot of confidence in myself, so I like my chances.
So we are down to 2. 45-year-old Jan Sorensen with 420,000 chips, and 45-year-old Keith Sexton, 540,000 chips.
These 2 fellas, no stud. This is the 4th time each of them has finished in the top 20 in a World Series stud event.
Sorensen on the Milwaukee's Best Light pocket cam. He's got ace high with a couple of hearts. And he says he's going to raise it up, raises it to 8,000.
Sorensen looking for his 2nd bracelet. Sexton looking for his 1st bracelet.
Sexton's got a 5 up, so he's got split 5s. Makes the call.
Since winning his bracelet in 2002, Jan has changed his last name from Hansen to Sorensen, his mother's maiden name. I wanted to change to my mother's maiden name, but she doesn't want anyone to know I'm her son.
Sorensen has a 3rd heart on 5th Street. Sexton, a pair of 5s. Sexton called the 8,000 chip bet from Sorensen. And now on 5th Street, Sexton with 2 pair now, aces and 5s.
And he's going to bet. Sorensen with a flush draw. In fact, Keith is looking at 3 hearts on the board. But even if you're afraid of the heart draw, one of the golden rules in stud is never let anyone get a free card on 5th Street. He has correctly bet, and Jan is chasing again.
Jan stubborn with that heart draw. And then 6th Street, no heart for Jan.
A big lead for Keith Sexton.
And Sexton's going to bet it for 16,000 more.
Lon, when you chase in this game, you lose in this game. Jan is chasing again.
Those Danes are stubborn, you know? They really are.
Well, if Sexton makes his full house on the river, Jan will be drawing dead, but if he doesn't improve, Jan can still win this hand with a flush.
Sexton does not get his full house.
Check.
He checks it over to Sorensen, who needs a heart on the river to win the hand. And he got the heart on the river.
I tell you, just can't beat that now. I tell you, you cannot beat that.
Jan's put his goggles on again and dredged a winner out of the river.
I mean, it's just unbelievable. My goodness gracious. How many times can I lose at the river against this?
Well, Jan Sorensen has become a river rat.
I mean, I win no pots at the river and lose every pot at the river. It's like unreal.
Sorensen, the chip leader, has been more than lucky with that final card.
Just unbelievable.
The 2005 World Series of Poker is presented by Milwaukee's Best Light, brewed for a man's taste. Miller Brewing Company, and in part by Toyota. Choose any direction as long as it's forward. Toyota, moving forward. And Harrah's Entertainment, home of the world's richest poker tournament.
As we continue heads-up action for the Stud Championship, Jan Sorensen now has a dominating chip lead on Keith Sexton. The limits have increased to $15,000 and $30,000.
Keith Sexton with a lot of wood to chop.
Jan Sorensen responsible for the bring-in. And now to Keith Sexton. He's got a queen and pocket threes on the Milwaukee's Best Light pocket cam, and he'll raise it up to $15,000.
He's representing that he might have a pair of queens.
Sorensen has split jacks. He is going to re-raise to 30.
Sorensen doesn't believe him. He believes his jacks would be best right now, and he's correct.
And so Sexton will call. Sorensen with a slight advantage as we go to 4th Street. No help for Sexton there.
And this is a bit of a surprise. Jan Sorensen ahead in the hand, Lon. Let's see how he plays when he's ahead.
Sorensen bets $15,000, and Sexton will immediately call with his pocket threes. Sorensen with the lead on 5th Street, no change.
Keith wants to get a better look at this. He's still got those paltry threes, and this is going to be a critical juncture for him.
Sorensen is going to push the action with $30,000 into Sexton.
Sexton has got to be thinking of dumping this one. Nope, he got a little stubborn there.
So Sexton digging himself in a little bit deeper as we wait for 6th Street. He still trails. And now he trails even more as Sorensen has 2 pair now, jacks and 9s.
And Keith knows he's beat at this moment. He can see the 9s. He's got to put Sorensen on 2 pair. Sexton has a bunch of overcards to give him a better 2 pair, but he's getting awfully low on funds.
He calls a $30,000 chip bet from Sorensen.
Well, the shoe's on the other foot now, Lon. Sexton's the one chasing and desperately hoping to get lucky.
Sorensen bets $30,000 in the dark.
If Jan gets a blank, Sexton can still win with higher 2 pair or trip threes.
Sexton looks at it. He got an 8, no help.
He can't even beat what he sees. That hand's taking a lot of steam out of his bid here. His chip stack has been pretty well crippled now.
And Sexton does fold. Sorensen had already bet. Jan Sorensen wins with jacks and deuces.
And Keith Sexton now down to a precious few chips.
And the Sexton boys don't look like they're brimming with confidence.
Now they're wondering if this is going to cut into their allowance.
Well, I think it already has. As you see, Keith Sexton down to pretty much one good bet left in front of him. We started with a field of 192. 2 players are left, $293,000 to the winner and the gold bracelet. Jan Sorensen already has a bracelet. Keith Sexton looking for his first. It would be a miracle win for Sexton. Keith Sexton has a king up. He's got split kings, just what the doctor ordered.
Kings have been good to him today.
Sorensen has a 9 up. He's got a pair of 9s.
He seems to have an air of contentment right now.
Oh, and why not? He's going to raise it up to put Sexton all in.
Boy, Jan almost positively giddy. He knows something we don't know, Lon.
So close to a win. Sexton doing some final bookkeeping, but when the bottom line is revealed, he will be all in, but he's all in with kings, Norman.
Sexton needs to double up a bunch of times, and it all starts with the first double up. He's in a good position to do that.
Sexton's got the advantage right now.
The boys seem a little dismayed. They've seen this show before, and it always has a bad ending.
So 4th Street comes out. No improvement for Sexton. Sorensen gets a 3rd heart.
Sexton still ahead with his kings against Sorensen's 9s.
And now 5th Street, and Sorensen now is a heart draw.
Sexton's king still best, but Sorensen now with the drawing advantage, as you see from the percentages.
How about the 8 of spades? I'll take the 8 of spades right here.
Well, 8 of spades for their dad would do a lot of help. Actually, Sexton gets a spade, so he's got a flush draw. Sorensen got 2 pair, and he takes the lead.
Well, he didn't wait till the river this time. Sexton now in desperate straits. Sorensen closing in on a second bracelet. Sexton needs a flush, 3 kings, or kings up to have a shot.
And now the river card. Sexton turns it over. It's not what he needs. Sorensen wins.
Full house.
And he didn't need it, but how fitting for Jan Sorensen to get another monster hand on the river. He's been doing it all day long.
Good job, buddy. Good job.
Keith Sexton, second place, $162,000. And Jan Sorensen soaks in the moment of glory. Keith Sexton leaves with some unfinished business.
It's disappointing. I mean, I'm sick right now, basically. Now, first place is the only time you're going to be happy. I mean, obviously, second place is better than everything except first, but it's not first.
The day began with a matchup between the reigning champion and a #1 ranked player in the world that both ultimately fell short of their goal and made early exits. And it came down to 2 seasoned stud specialists, with the Great Dane winning his second bracelet.
Jan, we had the #1 player in the world here tonight and the defending champion in this event, and you beat them both. How does it feel right now?
Yeah, I'm feeling so good. I make some good hands and was lucky a couple times, so it was perfect.
Congratulations to world champion Jan Sorensen. For Norman Chat, I'm Lon McCarran. See you next time from the World Series of Poker.